Are you thinking about hosting a women's empowerment event? I hope so. In this video, I'm going to share with you 9 things that you must do to make sure your event goes off without a hitch, has a massive impact on the world, and also doesn't drain your bank account. As women are stepping more into leadership, as we are finding our voice, as we are creating our lives on our terms, and one of the things that goes along with that is more women's events, specifically women's empowerment events. And I'm going to share 9 steps with you, 9 key essential things you must do to create a successful event, specifically one that's sustainable, one that can pay for itself and even be profitable for you and for the causes that you care about. So before I get into the actual 9 steps, I just want to share some of the problems that I ran into and some of the challenges that I see a lot when people are putting together a women's empowerment event. So the first is lack of clarity, lack of focus, especially when it comes to the host or the founder, which is what I was. Trying to do all of it, trying to be all things to all people, trying to be the host of the event, the MC of the event, a speaker at the event, the producer of the event, the director of the event. Doing all of those roles can be really overwhelming. So part of what I'm going to share with you addresses how to find the role that's right for you and make sure you have a team to support all the other pieces. A second problem that I ran into and that I see a lot of my clients when they're first starting to do these is not taking good enough care of themselves and really almost martyring themselves in service of the event. This is something that I did and for years, and it ended up being really painful and causing a lot of problems, even illness for me. So another part of what I'm going to be sharing with you is how to make sure that you take good care of yourself so that the event is not only sustainable, but you are too. See, if you're going to be creating a women's empowerment event, it is crucial and essential that you be the first one who is empowered. We can't have a women's empowerment event led by someone who's exhausted, burnt out, overwhelmed, complaining, right? So you are the first one that has to be congruent with your own message. So this whole strategy, these 9 steps are built around you as a leader and making sure that you take really good care of yourself so that you have a lot to give. So the first essential ingredient of a great women's empowerment event is purpose. And when I talk about purpose, I'm not just talking about the bigger why, the meaningful, fulfilling aspect of purpose, but rather the purpose of this event in your life and in your business. Are you doing this event purely as a service, purely as contribution? Or would you like, as I did, to make it part of your business and your business model so that you can sustain yourself from this event? Is this something you want to create ongoingly? Do you want to do it forever or you just want to do it one time? Is this something you see yourself doing annually or semi-annually? So these are all really big questions to consider at the outset. And when you have clarity about those types of things, yes, you definitely also want to look at, well, what's the purpose of this event? What is truly the outcome that I want to create from this event? Is it to gather women together, to collaborate? Is it to teach them and educate them? Is it to uplift and inspire? What is the purpose of the event? And that'll give you fuel for action. And it'll also give the event itself its own fuel for action. You will attract people who are aligned with that purpose, which is something that you're really going to want to do as I talk about later in these steps. The second piece are the people. Who are the women that this event is going to serve? So when I think about people, I'm thinking about my ideal audience for my long-term vision. So for myself, when I created the Women's Success Summit, in the beginning, I wasn't really clear about who my audience was and who I really wanted to serve. So I made it very broad and general, which was great. I got a lot of people to that very first 1 or 2 events, but it wasn't really great for my business. A lot of those women that attended the first couple Women's Success Summits weren't women that were going to keep working with me or were interested in my consulting or my coaching or sponsorships or anything like that. So I suggest that you get strategic and focused on who are the women that you want to serve. Are we talking about women leaders? Are we talking about beginners? Are we talking about established women to come together to create something new? Are we talking about young women who are trying to figure themselves out and find what they're meant to do? So really getting clear about what kind of women you want to have at the event is going to help clarify everything else downstream. Which brings me to number 3. Once you know about the people, which women you want to bring to your event, now we want to think about what their pain points and problems are. What are they struggling with that this event is going to help them solve? What do they care about? What do they need? What do they not know that they need? I like to think about pain points and problems in 3 parts. The first is the pain point or problem that they know that they're dealing with and they're actively looking for a solution to. The second type of pain is the one that they know they're dealing with, but they are keeping it to themselves. They don't necessarily share it with others or admit it to others. Generally, it's the emotional side of the problem that they have. Then there's a third type of pain point or problem, and it's the problem they don't even know they have. I also call this the blind spot. Now, the thing about the blind spot, and what makes this really interesting to do this exercise and look at all 3, as the person who knows and is creating the event, we often know what the blind spot is, and we want to share it with people. We want to tell them, we can help you fix this thing, this problem. Problem is, if they don't realize they have that problem, it's not going to attract them to the event. So when we get later into promotions of the event, we want to be coming back to these pain points and problems for our languaging, for our website copy, for our email invitations, right? And focusing on those first 2 problems, the problem they know they have and they're actively looking for a solution for, and the problem that they know they have but they're not really talking about, the more emotional, deep layer problem. So once you have clarity on the problems and pain points that your audience has, that's a good time to start looking at what is the promise and the premise of your event. The promise and the premise are, what is the outcome that people are going to get to the event and why do they need it now? So the promise, what are they going to leave with? What are you promising they're going to get from your event? Are you promising that they're going to learn a new skill, that they're going to find new strategies, or are you promising that they're going to collaborate with new women, that they're going to network and connect with other amazing women? What is the promise of your event? And I advise you to make this really crystal clear and put this all over your marketing materials, which we'll get to in a minute. So your promise is, what's the outcome? And then the premise that goes right along with the promise is, and why does that matter now? Why is that important first and foremost? Why is this something that you don't want to put off or wait? Why is this important in this moment more than ever? The 5th thing is, what is the payoff? And when I'm talking about the payoff, I'm thinking about it in 2 versions. What is the payoff for your audience for having attended? And that's closely related to the promise. And what is the payoff for you as the organizer of the event? Is this something that's going to serve your business? Is this going to help you grow? Are you going to offer something to your audience on the backside of your event? So what are the ways that you can use this opportunity to grow your own career and your own business and your own life? What's the payoff for you? Now, there can be a financial payoff, and I have a lot of videos on how to monetize events. So please check those out, because those are going to really help you dial in revenue streams, sponsorship opportunities, ticket sales, and things like that. And also, what is the payoff after the event? Is this event going to help you build your brand? Is it going to help you get into the media? You can leverage an event to bring media and get yourself media exposure and coverage. So there are lots of different ways that these events can pay off. Another way that it can pay off is helping you deepen relationships in certain communities. So what are the ways that it's going to pay off for you down the line? The 6th thing to look at is, what is the program of the event? That's actually what is the content that you're going to be delivering at this event. What is actually going to happen inside of this event? I remember when we did the Women's Success Summit, one of the things that we did for the program each time was come up with a different theme. So we had themes like show me the money, it's time to shine, embrace your destiny. We had all sorts of fun themes every single time. And then that theme served as the basis for the content of the event. So thinking about what's the programming, who are the speakers going to be? What are the topics going to be? Are you going to bring in speakers and then figure out the topics, or are you going to map out the topics you want and then go find speakers to fill it? These are two really different approaches to creating content at an event. Another thing to consider with your program is, are you going to have talking heads the whole time, somebody on stage talking to an audience, or can you mix it up? One of the things I used to do at the Women's Success Summit was make sure that I never had two back-to-back speakers. I'd have a speaker, a panel, an activity, a panel, a speaker, an activity. So mixing it up so that nothing was too similar and people were up and down and they'd move around. Another thing to consider is, what kind of breaks are you going to provide? One of the biggest challenges I see, or one of the biggest mistakes, I should say, that I see with events is too much content, not enough downtime, not enough integration time, not enough connection time. So really think about giving your attendees the space for all the magic that happens in between the speakers and the programming. The seventh thing to think about are your packages and your pricing. One thing that I didn't realize when I first started was I could have different levels of pricing for my event, because there was part of me that really wanted to serve everyone. I wanted it to be accessible. I wanted it to be easy access. I wanted everyone to say yes to it. So I had a really low price point. The problem with that is that I had a really low price point. So I had a lot of people who didn't have any money flooding this event. Now, later I got wise and I created that nice, easy price point, but I also created higher levels of attendance. I created a VIP ticket. I created a platinum pass, a backstage pass. So I created all these different levels, and I was so shocked and surprised that there are always people who are willing to pay more for a more exclusive experience. So remember that, especially when you're figuring out ways to create this payoff for yourself. Another thing to think about is, can you offer something and sell it on the back end of your event? Think about it. You're going to go through all this trouble. You're going to create all this amazing content. You're going to pull together all these amazing people, right? All for what? For 1, 2, 3 days? What's on the backside of that? What ongoing support or service could you provide to keep the momentum going? I guarantee you that if you create a great event, there's always a certain percentage of people who are going to want more. So plan ahead for that. The eighth important thing to look at is, of course, production. And this is number 8 because all these other things, in my opinion, are important to figure out before you start spending money on your event. So your production are things like your venue. How much are you going to pay for your venue? Are you going to provide food, lighting, staging, decorating, all the things that your event needs to become real, to take place in this real physical world? And one of the things that I'll advise on this front is to definitely, please hire an event planner. Do not do this yourself. Even if you are an event planner, you are the event creator. You are the event founder. You are the visionary. Stay in that role and have someone else support you with the nitty-gritty production details. An event planner can negotiate a venue for you. They can take care of all the things that are going to distract you from the thing that matters most, which is making sure that you deliver a fantastic program. Which brings me to the conversation about, what is your role? When I started my Women's Success Summit, I didn't even give myself a starring role in my own event. I don't know why I did that, but for the first 2 events, I had someone else keynote my own event. I had other people deliver all the content. I didn't even give myself stage time beyond just welcoming people to the event and then the occasional, hey, somebody left a bracelet in the bathroom type of thing. So I highly encourage you to think now about who you want to be at your event and how this event can be a platform for you to step into greater leadership for yourself and create something new and expand you into a new role. So I encourage you to think about how you can show up at this event, how you can put yourself on stage at this event, and how you can use this event to leverage the next vision that you have for yourself and for your life. The last piece of this is your promotion, and specifically how you are going to promote through partnership. I know that if you're creating something big and you want to create something that's really meaningful and creates an impact, you're going to need partners to help you promote this. Partnerships can be one way that you can bring people into the event even if you don't have a big audience. So partnerships in promotion are essential. When I created the Women's Success Summit, one of the things I did was I created a partner program. And I went to chambers and associations and individuals who had influence, and I invited them to be a partner of the event. What that meant was I gave them a VIP pass to come to the event and some other special perks. And in exchange, they agreed to promote the event to their audience and to their lists. Another thing I did was I created something called my board of advisors. This is where I brought together the people that were most passionate about my idea. This was a group of maybe 12 or 14 women, and we would gather every other week and identify new people to go after, new organizations to reach out to, new ideas for promotion. These women helped me make this event really happen and took off a lot of the burden from just little old me doing it by myself. So I highly encourage you giving some thought to ways that you can use partnership to promote your event. Specifically, you're going to need for promotion at least a website and a place where people can register. That said, there's this amazing tool called Eventbrite, which I've used many times, even for the Women's Success Summit, which was an event that attracted hundreds of women. So if I can do that event on Eventbrite, you can too. I love Eventbrite because not only does it let you create your event and sell tickets to it and do all the collections and create partnership affiliate codes for other people to promote your event, but also it'll promote your event for you. It'll help you promote through Facebook. It'll tell people, hey, your friend is going to this event. Do you want to go too? So these are some great things that would take a lot for you to build out yourself into your own platform. Why not just use a platform that already provides that for you? I cannot overemphasize the importance of social media with event marketing. And also, I'm not going to dive deeply into it on this video. There are so many resources out there, including some videos of my own, on how to promote and market your event. So I'll just leave it at that and say social media, email marketing, and YouTube are some of my very favorite strategies for promoting your event. If you're creating a women's empowerment event and you'd like my guidance and support, please let's chat. There is nothing I like doing more than helping people launch events like this. It warms my heart and inspires my spirit to do this work. So go ahead and set up a call at superstaractivator.com/go and let's chat and see if and how I can support you.